Yo, what's going on, guys? Real quick before the video starts, I just want to give a quick shout out to Wind Booster. They have a crazy throttle controller that I use in my car, and this thing completely transformed my car. Like, I won't even say much about it. I'll just show you guys a clip of what it does. Look, as soon as I tap it, it just goes. Look, it just goes. It's just ready to go. I don't know if you guys can even see it. Look, it just goes. It's fucking fast. Yeah, as you guys can see, this thing completely made my car feel like a race car. And not only that, you can save so much gas with it because they have like an eco mode. You know, when you want to go fast, you use your race mode. If you want to go even faster, they have like a race plus mode. If you want to make your car feel like a Rolls Royce, you can literally do that as well. It's crazy how much modes they have, and it's really simple to use. You just plug it to your car and that's it. You know, they have their app. You connect your phone through Bluetooth. The app is available for both Android and iOS. You connect your phone to it, pick whatever mode you want. If you don't want to use the app, you can use the throttle controller itself. But it's simple to use. It's completely harmless for your car. Use code Kimran for 15% off. Right now we have a limited time deal. You can get 20% off with Kimran C, but the 15% off is always going to be available. That's just Kimran. But go grab one right now. You can get 20 off with Kimran C. But anyways, hope you guys enjoyed the video. Peace. Alright, what's going on, guys? So this is the POV video. You guys may have clicked on this from my other video, or you're probably just not watching this, but yeah, just a quick POV. Nothing crazy. I'm not going to be doing any pulls or nothing because I'm going to be talking about the car, you know, the new car, the BMW. Yeah, so this POV, I'm pretty much just going to be talking about like what happened to the car because I bought it, ran into a bunch of issues, a bunch of shit, you know. So I'm just going to tell you guys about it, like what to look out for when buying one. So yeah, it's not going to be, you know, crazy POV. I won't be doing any pulls. Well, maybe I do like one or two, but the car isn't like, it's not like ready for pulls. Like, it's pretty bad, you know. I don't want to break it because it has some problems right now. So I'm not going to be doing any pulls, nothing much. I probably do like one or two for you guys, but that's about it. But yeah, this guy's letting me out. You're probably wondering why I have this big camera thing on my head. There's another thing that like another POV thing. It kind of mounts on my seat, and yeah, and it like shows everywhere up here, like the whole front of the car. I'm thinking to get that, but then again, if I get that, you guys won't see when I'm like turning my head like this, and I think that kind of makes the POV videos like feels more engaging, you know, when you guys are actually looking where I'm looking rather than the camera just being mounted somewhere. So let me know what do you guys think about that. Like, would you want the camera mounted somewhere so you guys can see like the whole front of the car, or do you prefer when it's on my head? I'm pretty sure you guys are still seeing everything right now, so just let me know what you guys think. I might still get it, test it out for a video, see how that goes. But yeah, so let me just get started telling you guys like what happened. So I bought this car probably like 2 months ago now, and sold a Lexus. You know, bought this car, thought it was a good deal, and you know, I went when it's like 2 hours from where I lived. I drove there. You know, I didn't even have the Lexus because I sold the Lexus, then I drove there, so I got someone to bring me there. 2-hour drive. You know, I test drove this. I was testing a bunch of cars. I tested a 435. That was from a dealership actually, but this one I got it off Facebook, off a person. It was lady driven. A girl had it before me, so it's not modded or anything. So that's why I was like, yo, that's good. It's lady driven. They obviously haven't like abused it or anything. But the thing is, ladies aren't gonna abuse cars. Like, they're not gonna. Damn, look at this Charger. Is that a Hellcat? Damn, I think it's a Hellcat. Yeah, it is. That shit's clean. But yeah, ladies aren't gonna drift cars or like do pulls. They're not gonna do that. But most ladies, they don't really understand the car, so they're not gonna do the oil change when the oil change is due, or they're not gonna know when, like, if they hear a sound, they're gonna think, oh, it's whatever, you know. But if it's a guy, like, I'm not saying all ladies are like this, right? Not all guys, but you know, majority of them, like, ladies just, they won't know as much about a car as a guy does. So that's kind of what happened to me. Like, I went there, test drove the car. She told me that a light came on sometimes, like an engine light, whatever, something like that, she said. I'm pretty sure she said an engine light. You know, she's like, it doesn't come on all the time, it comes on sometimes. But for the price, I'm like, you know, it's whatever. I'm like, if it's an engine light, I'm getting it for a good price. So I'm like, you know, I can simply just fix whatever needs to be fixed because I'm getting it for a good price, you know. So I'll just use the extra money to just fix whatever it is. But, you know, I'm thinking it's probably like spark plug, or probably like just some kind of gasket, some kind, you know, I'm just thinking it's something simple. So, but anyway, I still went with my OBD reader because I'm like, I gotta test it because it can be something bad. So I went there, test drove the car, no light came on, nothing. I was doing mad pulls, like Sport Plus with the car in like manual mode where I'm shifting myself. You know, I'm doing mad pulls. So look at this view though, this is crazy. Well, yeah, I was doing mad pulls and everything because I wanted the light to come on so I can like see what it is, or like, you know, I wanted to know if anything was wrong with the car. So I was doing mad pulls in it, and she wasn't in the car either. So I'm like, fuck, you know, I'm gonna be doing my pulls out, because if she was driving with me, obviously I wouldn't like do all that because it's her car still. I haven't bought it yet, but she let me go with the car. She's like, go do your test drive, come back. So I'm like, yeah, I'm doing mad pulls. I'm testing this thing because, you know, I want to make sure there's nothing wrong with it. Came back from the test drive, car drove perfectly. No lights, no issues, no sounds, nothing. Right? It drove perfect. I'm like, damn, this is a steal. I'm like, this is a good deal. You know, so I'm like, okay, let me run my OBD reader on it. You know, I plug it in, read everything, no codes, nothing. I'm like, shit, it looks good. And for the price, I'm like, yeah, you know, I want to get it because it's a girl, and she said she got the car from her grandfather, I think. And she's selling it now because she's like, it's a lot compared to regular cars to like do oil changes, because obviously it's a BMW, you know, it's gonna cost a little more for everything. So she's like, I'm selling this and I'm probably just gonna get a Honda or something. I'm like, I mean, she's a girl, you know. I'm like, it's understandable. So I believed it. I still believe her to this day. But anyways, I bought the car, you know, gave her the cash, full cash on hand, gave her the cash, drove off. Not even 10 minutes after I left, the light came on. And the light that came on, it said low oil pressure. So I'm like, shit, that's probably the light. That's probably the light she was talking about. And in the car, like in this compartment, in the little dash compartment, there was a oil, what is it? The oil sensor, oil pressure sensor. There was an old one in there. So I'm like, you guys changed that? And they're like, yeah, we changed that recently. I'm like, oh, that's good then. Well, you know, I'm like, well, there's a new one in the car. So I'm like, that's good. And yeah, so I left. I saw the oil pressure sensor. I'm like, okay. No, it said low oil pressure. So I'm like, no way the sensor is faulty if they just changed it. I'm like, maybe they changed it, but the guy, because she has a husband, she has a fiance or whatever. Yeah, so I was thinking maybe the guy just didn't like tighten it properly or something. I'm like, so maybe that's why the low oil pressure is on. So I'm like, whatever, I'll check it out. You know, I tried to test my oil level because BMWs, they don't have a dipstick. So I'm like, all right, let me check my oil level. You know, I tried to check it on this thing, and it just goes to 17% every time and just stops. I'm like, well, that's weird. I'm like, maybe the sensor isn't working, so I can't even like check the oil level, you know. So I'm like, all right, fuck, I'll figure that out. So I was thinking I should just stop at a gas station or something, put some extra oil in it, but I'm like, nah, because maybe there is oil in it, but I don't want to go like put too much now and then I fucking overflow the thing, you know. So I'm like, nah, you know what, let me just try to make it home. You know, I'm driving home. The car was like, when the low oil pressure light comes on, it's like, drive cautiously, you know, pull over. It says drive cautiously, pull over as soon as possible, something like that. And it's like, and consult your mechanic or something. So I'm like, shit, that's no good, right? But I'm like, fuck, I'm 2 hours from my house. So I'm like, maybe I can get back on it. So I'm like, fuck, should I stop? But I couldn't stop because I didn't really have anyone to come pick me up. Like, I'm like, fuck, I just have to risk it there. But I didn't think it was anything bad. So I'm like, you know, it'll make it. I'm like, I just won't push the car or nothing. Driving, almost home now. I'm like 5 minutes from my house. You know, and then, you know, I came up to all the stop signs because I was on the highway most of the time. So I was just like cruising at 1 speed. You know, I came up to like the community area. I'm like doing like 40, 50. So I'm like in that area. And every time, like when I was coming to a stop, I heard like a little knocking. Like every time I slow down, like I'm coming to a stop, I hear a knocking. And when I speed off, I hear a knocking. So I'm like, oh, that's weird. And, you know, the light's still on. The low oil pressure light is still on. I'm like, fuck, that's no good. But I'm like, the knocking, I was thinking it's probably just like the exhaust knocking back there or something, or like, you know, I was thinking like it's something just knocking on something. I'm like, it's probably the exhaust hitting on the, like a loose exhaust pipe or something. I'm like, you know, but I was like, whatever, because I'm going to change the exhaust anyway. I'm going to put my own exhaust on it. So I'm like, is what it is. Anyway, I got home. I got home good and everything though. You know, I got home and fuck, when I was almost home too, like literally after I heard the sound, I was going through an intersection where there was construction, and I had the right of way because the guy was calling me. And as soon as I was going through, it's like an intersection like this. I was going through, the guy was calling me, and another car came flying by, like almost hit me. I literally had to like swerve that way, and like legit, I had to like dodge this fucking car. Like I almost crashed the shit on the first day. It wasn't my fault. Luckily I didn't crash it. So then I got home and I'm like, okay, let me try to figure out what that sound is. So every time I rev the car, I hear the sound. So I'm like, fuck, what is that? So I'm like, it's maybe the exhaust pipe, because when I rev it, you know, obviously the exhaust pipe is gonna like be shaking and whatever. I'm like, yeah, probably the exhaust pipe. So I'm trying to put my head to the floor of the car, like, because obviously the exhaust is like under me, like under here. But the sound wasn't from there, it's from like the engine area. So I'm like, shit, what could that be? So I'm thinking maybe it's just a loose bolt, or like I need like a new like seal for something. I'm like, I have no clue. So anyway, keep driving the car. The other day I'm like, you know what, I'm gonna bring it to BMW, get a full inspection, you know, let them check it out, let their mechanic look at it. And because I'm like, you know, I got the car for a good price. Obviously BMW dealership is gonna be expensive to do all that, but I'm like, you know, got the car for a good deal, might as well spend the money, get it checked out by a professional, and you know, fix whatever needs to be fixed. Brought it in. On my way driving there, I saw another light came up, right? The fucking, it says drivetrain malfunction. That light came up, and the low oil pressure light was still up. Like the low oil pressure light, it goes off when you turn the car off. When you turn it on, you drive, it's good for a while, and then it comes back again. All right, so that light came on, then the drivetrain malfunction came on. That's when I'm literally driving to the BMW dealer to get it checked out. I'm like, shit, this is no good. So I got there, and the night before, like the night I got the car, before I went to the BMW dealership, I was like on my phone, like searching everything up. I'm like, what could cause a low oil pressure light? And there's a bunch of things, right? And I searched up the low oil pressure light and the knock-in, because I'm like, they may be tying, maybe it's one thing that's causing both, you know? But when I search up all the reasons, I'm looking for something that's common in both, like one thing that causes a knock-in and the same thing that could cause a low oil pressure. And the only thing I saw that was like common in both of them, it was a rod knock. And at this point, I had a Lexus. I didn't even know what a rod knock is. I know what a rod bearing is, but I thought like a rod knock, there a lot of people saying, yo, it's a rod knock, and I see one guy saying, yo, you had to change his whole engine, and it was like 10K. I'm like, damn. But I'm like, nah, that can't be what's wrong with mine. You know, I'm like, it's nothing that, I'm like, it's not that deep, you know? So I'm there anyway. I didn't even think too much of it, you know? I got to the BMW dealership now. The fucking mechanic, he was gonna take it for a test drive. So he turned the car on, he asked me what's the problem. I'm telling him about the knock-in and the light and everything. And before he even took it for the test drive, he revved it on spot, and he heard the knock-in. And he's like, that's the knock-in? I'm like, yeah. And he revved it again, and he did it like 3 times. And he looked at me and he shook his head. And I'm like, what is it? You know, I'm like, is it bad? I'm like, I know it's something, but is it bad? And he's like, buddy, it's the worst thing that could happen to your car. I'm like, fuck. I'm like, then what's the problem? Like, how, like, do I need to change something? Like, how much is it to fix it? Whatever. And he's like, you have a rod knock. And I'm like, fuck, a rod knock. Because that's what I searched up last night when I saw some guy saying he had to change his engine. I'm like, shit. I'm like, no way I have a rod knock. I'm like, has to be something else. And he's like, yo, he's like, we can do like a full inspection and like take it for a test drive and do all this. But he's like, it's going to cost you a lot. But I'm telling you right now, before you pay for all that, for someone to check it out, he's like, I've been doing this for over 30 years. I know what a rod knock sounds like when I hear it. You know, he's a BMW mechanic. He's like, he does all the test drives and figure out what's wrong with the cars. Like, he does that, you know? And he's like, bro, I've been doing this for so long. I'm telling you, that's a rod knock. I'm like, fuck. I'm like, yo, how much is it to fix it? And he's like, you can either fix the engine or just buy a whole new engine and put in the car. He's like, it's the same price. And he's like, if you fix the engine, it's gonna cost the same amount, and the engine might still not be like perfect, you know, because it's a broken engine you fix. So it's like, it's better to just buy an engine that's working and put it in your car because it's the same price. I'm like, shit. I'm like, how much am I looking at? And he's like, everything roughly probably like 9,000 to 13,000. I'm like, what the fuck, bro? Like, that's almost how much I got the car for. I'm like, nah. I'm like, no way. That's how much I got to pay for this shit, you know? He told me that, and I was fucking like, bro, I just started shaking. I'm like, no way, because I just sold a Lexus. I bought the BMW, like my dream car. All I'm thinking now is I'm gonna start making POV videos. I'm gonna start modding it. I'm gonna start doing this, start doing that. So anyway, he told me that, but I have a mechanic that worked on the Lexus too. Like, he didn't like my exhaust and all that. I'm like, you know what? Let me not just take this BMW guy's word. Like, I believe them, but you know, at the same time, you're still hoping it's not a rod knock. So I'm like, fuck. I'm like, let me just take this thing to my mechanic. You know, it's better to hear from 2 mechanics than 1. You know, so I brought it to my mechanic, he said the exact same thing. He's like, yep, that's an engine knocking. And he's like, that's a rod knock. And he told me the same thing. He's like, it's the same price to fix it or change the engine. He's like, just change the engine, bro. And he told me sell the car, by the way. That's what he told me. He told me to, you know, just sell the car. You know, I'm gonna be losing at the end of the day, because fuck, I'm going out. You know, I'm waiting for that. But yeah, he told me sell the car, because if I fix it, it's gonna be the same amount I'm losing as if I were to sell it. So it's like, bro, sell it and get a 340i or something with a B58 engine, you know? And everyone's like, you shouldn't have sold the Lexus, you should have this, you should have that. I'm like, yeah, I know, but it's my dream car. You know, I'm gonna want my dream car. You know, I'm gonna want the BMW because it's my dream car. So I'm like, fuck, I kind of fucked up. But, you know, I was still trying to stay positive and all. And he told me sell the car. I'm like, bro, if I sell it, I'm not buying another car unless it's a BMW. And I'm like, if I sell it right now, I can't even buy a 340i or, you know, I'm like, fuck, I'm gonna put myself in like some fucked up financial situation, bro. I'm like, I'm not trying to sell it, you know. But he's like, bro, one way or the next, you're gonna be spending a lot. And I'm like, yeah, but I can probably find the 10K whatever to fix the car, but I can't find 30K to go drop on a 340i or a 440i, a B58, you know what I mean? So I'm like, shit. I'm like, yo, what do I do, bro? And he's like, yo, sell it. I'm like, nah, everyone's telling me sell it. You know, I would only get like 5K for it, bro, because it has a broken engine. They're like, no one's gonna take that for more than 5,000 because of how much it costs to fix it, you know. So they're like, yo, sell it. I'm just gonna go down here and do a quick spin for you guys, because I'm pretty much like where I need to be. So I'm just gonna finish off the story real quick, you know. But this is a crazy view though. But yeah, everyone's like, sell it, sell it. I'm like, nah, because I know if I sell it and I buy another car, I'm still gonna want a BMW eventually. So I'm like, nah, I'm not selling it. You know, I'm like, I'm fixing it. I'm like, fuck it, I already lost, I'm fixing it. You know, the girl I bought it from, I texted her, I told her all about it. She's like, she really doesn't know and whatever, this, that. But I do believe her. I actually believe her. It sounds dumb, but I believe her, because so we're talking and shit. I'm like, yo, is it possible to like get some of my money back? Because like we didn't know this. And then, you know, whatever, she's talking to her mechanic that she had. I'm gonna just park up right here and tell you guys the story until it's done. But yeah, so she's talking about, she called up her mechanic, whatever, asking the mechanic if that was a problem. Her mechanic is like, no. I feel like the mechanic was just taking her money though, to be honest. But yeah, so we were talking and she's like, she's like, I don't have to, because I'm like, at least give me back some of the money to help me fix the car. I'm like, I like the car, I'm not giving you back, you know. I'm like, I'm not asking you to take back the car, but at least give me some money to fix it, because that's fucked, you know. So anyway, she's like, well, it's your responsibility to test drive the car, figure out if anything is wrong. I'm like, yeah, I did test drive it and nothing was wrong. I brought my OBD reader, nothing was wrong, you know. So I'm telling her all that, and I'm like, I understand what you're saying, it's my responsibility, but I'm like, it's not like I came there and I didn't test drive the car and I tested it. I'm like, I tested it. I'm like, if I knew something was wrong, I wouldn't have taken the car, you know. I'm like, I did all my tests, like the car was perfect, you know. But I'm like, the oil light that you were telling me about, because she told me before I even came, she's like, a light comes on sometimes. I'm like, that light that you were telling me about, it's because of the rod knock. So that's why you're getting a low oil pressure light, because the rod bearing is done, so oil is escaping and all that, you know. I explained it to her. I'm like, that was the issue. I'm like, maybe you didn't know, but I'm telling you right now, I brought it to BMW and the guy told me that's the problem. So we're talking, whatever, back and forth. She gave me back $2,000, and she's like, that's all I got, because she's like, I sold the car and I'm buying a new one, so I need the money and whatever. I'm like, fuck. I'm like, I mean, it's $2,000, it's better than nothing though, because some people wouldn't have given me shit. You know, she gave me $2,000 back, and you know, that was it. She's like, that's all I got. I'm like, yeah, I appreciate it still, because you didn't have to do that. But you know, like, it's kind of, I mean, I don't even know, to be honest, because some people didn't have to give you shit back. But you know, it's kind of fucked that she sold me that car. But I don't think she knew, because I feel like if she knew that something was wrong, she would have just taken the money and dipped. You know, she wouldn't have given me back $2,000 or nothing. So yeah, that happened. You know, I told my mechanic, I'm like, bro, you know what, fix it for me. And he's like, I'll find you an engine and all that, you know, it's gonna take some time. I'm like, cool, let it take time, you know. Like, I'm like, bro, I'll wait for it, you know, just get it fixed. I'm like, I didn't even want to think about it much, because I'm like, fuck, this isn't going as planned, you know. I'm thinking, I get the car, I mod the car, I make videos, nothing's going as planned. The car was in the shop for over a month, literally. Like, I after I bought the car, I didn't even drive it for like 3 days, and then it's in the shop. right? It's been there for like a month because I had to wait for the new engine to come in, and that was all the way across Canada. That was like the next side of Canada, you know. I had to wait for that to come in. I had to wait for them to take the bad engine out of the car and put the new one in, all that. In the end, I spent 15K on the fuck Canadian though, so in USD that's probably like 13K something, but I spent 15K for all the shit because he had to change the engine. You know, the engine itself, the engine was 9,000. The engine was 9,000, and then labor was like, you guys can do the math, but labor was like 3K, 2K, 2.5K, something like that. You know, he had to do that, you know, obviously. And I got it for not, I got a lot of shit like cheaper because it's my mechanic, because he had to do like oil changes. He had to flush the engine, the new one, you know. He had to get a bunch of gaskets. He had to get a bunch of things. The holes that from the turbo that leads to like the air intake, something like that, he had to change that. He had to change a bunch of shit. So it wasn't just the engine, but you know, everything came up to like 15K. I'm like, damn. I'm like, bro, fuck. That's like I'm pretty much fucking what I bought the car for, you know, because I'm like, shit. The car came with 130,000 kilometers on it, by the way. So it wasn't like 200,000, 300,000 kilometers, because I wouldn't buy a BMW that much. I mean, 130 is still a lot, but you know, I'm like, you know, it's a lot, but you know, it's not bad. So fuck, you know, I paid the money, fixed it, all of that. But long story short, where I am right now, fucking car, it was great after I got it out the shop. I mean, I love the car, but it's just, you know, nothing's going as planned. You know, I got it from the shop. It was driving perfect for like the first 2 days. Then I got the drivetrain malfunction again, and fuck, yeah, I haven't gotten the low oil pressure yet, but I always get the drivetrain malfunction whenever I push the car, like not even push it like in sport or nothing. Whenever I'm like merging to the highway, whenever I have to speed up, or like when I try to pass someone, whenever the engine is working, I get the drivetrain malfunction. Like when the engine is like, you know, obviously like doing like pushing harder than usual, I always get the drivetrain malfunction. Some people are saying it can be the intercooler. I'm hoping it's something like that. I still hear a knocking though. And the knocking sounds exactly like the rod knock. It happens just like how the rod knock was. That's exactly when it happens, how it sounds. But it's not getting any worse. That's the thing. The rod knock got worse fast, but this isn't getting any worse, and I'm not getting the low oil pressure. But I'm also getting like I'm getting exhaust knocking now though. That's for sure. But that's different from like I have no clue. I'm just hoping it's nothing too bad. It sounds exactly like the rod knock. I'm hoping it's not, but I have warranty on the engine. I have warranty for a year, so if it breaks, it's on the shop. But yeah, I feel like it's the rod knock because it sounds the same and everything, but I'm also getting a knocking. I know I'm getting the exhaust knock for sure now. That's different from the rod knock sound I'm talking about, but I have no clue. I'm just hoping the rod knock sound that I think it is, it's not, but I'm pretty sure it is because it sounded exactly like how the first engine sounded. It's not as bad though. It's not nearly as bad, but it's still there. And the drivetrain malfunction, all that. So that's why I haven't really been making any videos, you know, because the car is just not going as planned. Nothing is going as expected. So I'm trying to sort that out. You know, I'm trying to get all that fixed because I don't want to mod the car yet, because I have mods. I have the M Sport steering wheel. I have like the mirror caps, the F Sport mirror caps. I have the kidney grill, the blackout kidney grill with the V-brace bars and all that. You know, I already got those, but I don't want to put it on the car because I don't want to start modding the car, and right now the car is just broken again because I'm getting the drivetrain malfunction. I have no idea if it's the engine that's bad. You know, I don't know what's up with this car. So my mechanic said I should bring it to him to run a test on it again. You know, he's gonna put it in his OBD reader, and at 5,000 kilometers, like it's at 137 now. He said when I get to 140, I should bring it to the shop. He's gonna do another test on it to make sure everything is good, flush the engine again. But yeah, that's why I haven't been doing anything to the car. You know, I don't want to mod it. I don't want to put any extra money into the car and then it just breaks, you know, because all these things right now with it, I'm not sure if it's, I have no clue what it is. You know, if it's something bad, or is it's the engine again or whatever, I might as well just sell it, you know. So that's why I don't want to put too much money into it. I don't want to put my mods on yet because it's not going to be worth it, you know. I'll just be wasting my money if the car is no good, because I would have to get rid of it, you know. So I hope it's good. I really like the car. Like, I fucking love it. You know, it's still my dream car. Maybe I should have just gotten 340i or 440i, something with the B58, because those are way more reliable. But you know, it is what it is. I already bought it, so, you know, I just got to deal with the problems. But I'm just hoping it's nothing bad that's wrong with it right now. And yeah, I just hope it's nothing bad, because I really want to mod the car. I really want to make content on it for you guys. But moral of the story, like, if you guys are buying a used BMW, I'd say, yo, just go with a mechanic, bro. You know, bring your mechanic. Like, I feel like even if I brought my mechanic, I still would have bought the car, because the car is perfect on the test drive. No codes, nothing. But, you know, just to be on the safe side, just bring a mechanic. So if you miss something, the mechanic will not miss it. Or bring someone like that knows a lot about cars, you know, because I know a fair bit, but I still missed it. You know, I don't think anyone would have known the rod knock was there, because when I was test driving the car, the rod knock wasn't there. I didn't hear a single sound. But the rod knock was louder when the engine is warm. So I'm pretty sure when I test drove the car, the engine wasn't that warm. So I feel like that's why I didn't hear it. But when the engine gets warm, that's when you hear it, when the oil is thinner and all that. But yeah, so I just didn't hear the rod knock. The car was perfect on the test drive. But yeah, if you guys are buying one, you know, they're nice cars. They're really nice cars. So I wouldn't say not to buy one. If you have the money for a B58, obviously go for the B58. That's way more reliable. You know, that's the engine Super uses now, Toyota. So obviously that's reliable. I mean, it's BMW's engine that they took, but still. Yeah, so I would still tell you guys to buy a N55, you know, or 328i with the N20 engines. I'd still tell you guys to buy it. Like, they're nice cars, but if you can afford the B58, get the B58. But if not, you know, they're nice cars that you guys can still buy it, but just make sure you don't get a bad one, because this shit can cost you a lot. So yeah, unfortunately that happened to me, but you know, it is what it is. Gotta stay strong, gotta like still trying to figure out all this shit, because I hope it's good, because if I sell it, I'm not gonna buy another BMW like right now. I don't even know what I would buy. I wouldn't even buy a nice car. I would just buy like a beater until I can get like a 340 or a 440i. But for now, just have to hope for the best. Hope I'm gonna bring it to the shop again, check it out, make sure it's nothing too bad. But if it's all good, you know, the mods are coming, more POVs are coming, all that. But yeah, that's about it for this video. I know it's a lot, it's gonna be a long video, but yeah, you know, enough of me talking. I don't even know if you guys watch it to the end, but hope you guys enjoyed the video. Let me know if you guys want to see like more POVs. I can still make more of them. I'm just not gonna do a lot of pulls or nothing, because until I get it checked out to make sure it's not like bad. But yeah, that's about it. Hope you guys enjoyed the video, and I'll catch you on the next one.